Also, what's great about this is how you do a great title sequence. You're this cold open of this giant thing. We're about to kick off this amazing blade fight, but we're ruminating, we're acclimating to this world in this club. You have the reddest of red fonts.
Such
every title.
You know what's cool? I was thinking about this. Like, it's such a cool like tone of red because it's not really what you would consider blood red. Like, it's just a scotch more orange, and it really pops on the screen. I was watching this on my 4K disc. How much I love Blade. I fucking own this shit. Like, it just looks so good. And it tells you everything. Like, get ready to watch Blade.
With everything else being like that color corrected to like a little bit downgraded, which eventually we overdid, but here is done perfectly.
Yeah, it is. And there's that. I mean, they go to a meat packing place, and this felt more Fincher than anything because it's very green.
Yes, you're right.
Right before they get into the actual club. But like, you are taking your time. Well, as Eric was pointing out, this is something that just nobody cares about anymore, is letting people get into the mode of a movie and let them sit there and not, you're half paying attention to it. The credits are still happening. So you're allowing yourself to sink into it.
It also allows people to arrive to the theater late because that's all they do.
Excuse me, though. At this point, you have those people who are late to action movies now are out of their minds because you have exactly 30 minutes from when that movie is said to start until it actually starts.
Dude,
between trailers and all that shit,
fucking
at least 30.
15, 20 minutes into Oppenheimer on IMAX screen. My seat's down there.
Yeah, no, that's
tough shit. Sit on the fucking floor.
Yeah. I wish I had a fucking shotgun full of silver bullets out there.
No, I'm sorry. They had to go in the back to get the Sour Patch watermelons. I didn't want the kids. I wanted the watermelons.
It was a party of 5. Not the show, but 5
Everybody wants to be on time for RP.
I'm sorry, we just gotta get down here. Our parents were killed in a drunk driving accident. Pardon me. No, I'm raising my 3 kids.
Sorry. I know the little one's too young for Oppenheimer. I know, but we couldn't get a sitter. Come on.
Oh, and then Charlie has Hodgkin's disease. Pardon me.
I mean, everybody's talking about it. I feel left out of the conversation. I gotta see
That's what that show's about?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I thought it was like, hey, we're living single with 5 people sucking and fucking.
No, dude, it
that's
is
living single.
that was living single.
I conflated the two.
No, it was 5 orphaned siblings just trying to get by.
And no vampires that killed their parents.
No.
Did my joke make sense? Was Closer to Free the theme song?
Yes.
Okay.
You're right on target. I mean, not that it matters, but there's that 30-second 1967, and you watch Blade be born. It's like, it's so what I love about
C-section baby.
Is C-section baby. It's so disturbing, weird, and quick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even like, which again, we did a previous episode, Guardians, the gun movie, that opening sequence with the mother and the cancer. It's great. I mean, you learn a lot in it. But I mean, this movie is not concerned with that. It's just like, here's your 30 seconds. Like, this is your superhero origin
story out of the way. Yeah. But the way they tie it back in is very clever and well. But my knock against the start of this movie is going from 1967 to now.
Yes.
Just put 98, 99 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because, I know I would have to be a dumb person, which, hear me out, folks, I might be.
As opposed to when it says like present day.
But I'm just not like,
said it.
Oh my God, he's like 60 years old. Because I'm like, this is now. They said now. Honey, they said now.
Context doesn't matter, Mom. Okay?
But the movie was released. No, they said now.
I just never personally care for a present day now or whatever.
I do also love, speaking of Fincher, by the way.
What about the near future? You're like that one?
I'm a huge fan of the near future.
There you go.
That I can get behind.
Gotcha.
Fincher.
Speaking of Fincher, I do love, like, it's very much a not coming out and saying that this is New Orleans.
Yes.
And you just, like, if you were a Blade comic reader, like, a lot of Blade stories did take place in New Orleans, but, like, that's kind of it, which I do also love. Just, I'm a sucker for a good, just anonymous city.
Right.
But that's what it is, a city. And that's why I had to look up the New Orleans thing, because I was just like, oh, it's like The Dark Knight, just a city.
Right.
We're cutting it whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
Because it's all high. Half of this stuff is high rises. You're in.
Yeah,
I'm
and it's like L.A. It seems very L.A., but also like downtown L.A.
the
different
Chinatown
parts.
thing. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, that's weird because that feels like I know not, San Francisco's not exclusive to Chinatowns, but something about they're shooting this Chinatown. It has very much like San Francisco Chinatown vibes.
But the interior of the subway almost looked like New York.
Yes,
so
yes.
it's kind of amalgamation of sort of everything.
Like your Dark City thing. You know what I mean? It's just a city. I do think.
Oh right, yeah.
I remember really clearly. Like this is a really seminal film going experience for me because of this opening. I just remember like.
Oh, you saw this in theaters?
Oh yeah, I was.
First erection.
Yes. It finally happened.
Oh,
holy shit!
Sanaa, Lathan. Oh, and she's bloody.
So, like, I was reading Wizard magazines because Wesley Snipes was originally going to be Black Panther, but that fell through because that didn't happen. Like, I read that whole saga.
That was me with episode 1.
Exactly, and it was like, oh shit, they finally made the Blade movie. I was a huge Wesley Snipes head. I loved Passenger 57.
Drop Zone, of course, was a family staple of yours.
It was
Murder at 1600.
I just loved watching Wesley Snipes kick the shit out of people. Demolition Man, huge, wore out that tape. It's like, holy shit, Wesley Snipes in a comic book movie. And then like you get to this club, you're watching this thing, you get to this club, the blood comes out, and then this insane fight sequence happens, and you're like, it felt like nothing I'd seen before. It really did.
Yeah.
My jaw was on the floor as a 15-year-old kid.
Because it's this great cross between horror and action, which is very rare. And often when that happens, it's terrible. Like there are a few exceptions, of course, but like that is that like, holy fuck, blood's everywhere. But they're also kicking ass.
Yeah. And the horror of a blood rave, a bloodbath club is also establishing this modern world of vampirism.
Yes.
That is now in the 20th century and not, a guy in a cloak.
Yes. And there's so many ways that they modernize it. And they do a little bit of like, this isn't like the movies, but it's not too much. Like Kristofferson has the one line about it, but it's like, from that scene, though, you already know this is a modern take on vampire lore, and also like vampire social circles. Very fascinating,
but it keeps vampires as vampires for the most part. Like it's not like, oh yeah, they're vampires, but they could go during the day and actually like they don't want blood. They
sparkle
at whatever. There's a great Daniel Avery piece, I think, for the Toast, where it's like, these aren't your mother's vampires. They're actually Yorkshire Terriers. And like the whole story is like, it's a vampire story about a cool school, but everyone is actually just a Yorkshire Terrier. Because like literally like that's what you do with a lot of these vampire lores is you take it so fucking far.
You change so much that it's like not even that anymore.
But you know these are vampires because immediately they go, and they have teeth and the blood and the whole bit.
It's the difference between like, I get tired of the like, lore of like, oh, he survived the wars and then finally he went, and like Bram Stoker's Dracula does it well because it's fucking Coppola, but like this one, what I like about it is it's so modern about that. Like we have an archive that's digitized, motherfucker.
Yes, totally.
We have it here, and we have Pearl, my favorite character, looking after the thing. And like that is more interesting to have Stephen Dorff take the position of new money versus old money, as new blood versus old blood,
without even getting that far into his character, because it's Blade's movie. We actually have a protagonist, ladies and gentlemen. But like the twist towards the end of how Stephen Dorff was the vampire that bit his mother or whatever. So he was looking like that in 1967. We don't have to jump back to the 30s when he's born.
He doesn't have a wig on at any point. Exactly. And I love that it's like it's a villain. The villain of the film is openly critical of the traditional vampire lore. And that's why like he's ready to just fucking take Udo Kier to that beach, dude. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, your time has passed, vampire boomer. Go die.
And I relate so much to Stephen Dorff when, I mean, if I saw Sanaa Lathan in fucking 19th, I'd be like, she's keeping with.
And that's another great thing about the movie. It's like, black people exist in the world, which they do.
Yeah.
Instead of just having it be the one character, we actually have multiple characters, and it's wonderful.
It's incredible.
It's not like, this thing is, this isn't for lack of a better word, a black movie either. You know what I mean? Like it's not. Right. It's a movie. It's an action.
Exactly.
It's an action horror movie that has a black lead. That's a strong black lead.
And the Karen character was written as a white woman, and Wesley was like, "Hey, why don't you make her black too?" And it's great. It's just great.
Otherwise, she'd be calling the police on him for walking his dog or something.
Are you bird watching? Get the police. If you like what you just heard and want to hear the rest of this episode, go to patreon.com/WeHateMovies and sign up. You'll get this episode along with all sorts of other exclusive Patreon content, as well as a unique RSS feed that can be used with the podcast app of your choice. Patreon.com/WeHateMovies. Check it out.